and welcome to the Kitchen Knitter podcast. My name is Suzanne. I'm the kitchen knitter, and I'm here at my kitchen table in Cheshire in the northwest of England, and I thought I would share with you my works in progress. I've been watching some podcasts where there's been a whip parade, and I thought, do you know, it's such a good idea because I think it will crystallise my mind as to, I'm not sure I'm going to unpick everything, but it would just make me see how much I've got to get on with, and some things I've completely forgotten about. So I have this cupboard in my craft room, it's a wall cupboard, and I put things in there, and if I don't see it, it doesn't have to be dealt with, and I do forget about things. So I've brought everything out that I think I've got everything. I don't think I've forgotten about anything that are kind of in progress. So, it's Wednesday evening. My husband has gone to watch Manchester United play Leicester at Old Trafford. I could not be less interested. So I'm here on my own. I've had a meal for one, it was delicious. I cooked some spinach and ricotta ravioli and had a tomato and basil sauce on, and it was lovely. I have no idea what he's eating. So he's been at home all day. I've been at work today, and so I thought, this is what I'll do. So, one of my older whips, and I have shown this on a podcast, is this in this gorgeous bag. This is by Emma from Eldenwood Crafts, and I am knitting. This was the Rowan Christmas blanket. And I'll try and find, it's a great wodge of patterns because you knit up together. There it is. So it was this Christmas blanket. And I got to a point last year when I thought, I'm not going to finish this for Christmas. I had managed to do these squares. I think I've got one of everyone now. One of them all. You knit repetitively, but then you do a dark background and a light bit. That's the multicoloured one, but I went for the what was it called? There we go. It gave you a couple of colour alternatives, and I went with the winter colourway, which was carbon. Just says carbon. But there's a couple of colours there. But it was the wintry colourway. So I've got my squares, and that's as much as I've done, but I do intend to finish this for this Christmas because I think it's really rather nice. And so I think I've got my first lot of 6 there on this one, and my floats are not too messy. That's not too shabby, I don't think, and that's one of them there. And I am using the wintry colourway was it was Rowan felted tweed, and they don't always put the colours on. And I'm sat here, and it looks quite light and bright on the camera here, but I'm sitting in the dark because it would all be a bit too bright and I can't see, and now I can't see what I'm looking at. Anyway, it is these 2 colours from Rowan, and it's Rowan felted tweed. Gorgeous. I'll try, if I put the light on it might let's give it a go. Ooh, oh, I can see now. Oh, but that's a bit, anyway. It is shade 165. This is shade 165, and it's 50% wool, 25% alpaca and 25% viscose or viscose. Viscose, that's not right, is it? Viscose. Felted tweed. And the other one is shade 159. And I can't remember. They don't put the colours on. They just put the shade numbers on. You see, you can't see that at all now. But so what I'm going to do, and then you do a garter. You sew them together, and then you do a garter thing around there. And there's a bit of a grid at the back here to show you in what order you put the squares. And I'm not going to unpick this. I think I'm going to continue because I've got all the yarn there. So in this gorgeous bag, and bits and pieces in here as well. But it's so lovely because you can carry it or you can draw it, and it is in the most beautiful. Oh, you see, you can't see that now. Let's turn the light on. And in the most gorgeous. I can't remember what this. No, I can't remember what this colour, this fabric was called. But it absolutely gorgeous. There we are. Eldon Woodcrafts. And yes, I'm going to carry on doing that, I think. You knit it on, I think it's 4mm needles. Yeah, 4mm needles. So it's not, and they're not big square. I mean, you could do one of those in an evening. Again, I'm quite pleased with my floats. It's the first time I've done colour work. I've done intarsia, but I've never done colour work before. So that one needs some of these I've pressed, not blocked, but pressed. That one's a bit. But that, you see, I just love the colours. Beautiful. Oh, that's a bit messy. But so I'm not going to repurpose this wool. I'm not sure I could be bothered unpicking those, but I'm not going to repurpose this wool. I'm going to carry on and I'm going to knit that. It is called, and I think this was a free pattern, the Midwinter Blanket. It's a Martin Story pattern from Rowan, but I think it was a free pattern. I think it was, but then it was a while ago, so I really can't remember. But this bag is beautiful. Got loads of pockets down the side. Really, really lovely. So that's one to keep. And another languishing whip was it. In fact, when I picked this bag up, this is one I made myself. It's in a I think it's Cape Foreman linen. It's beautiful. The fabric's beautiful, not the bag. The fabric's beautiful. And I looked inside and thought I'd completely forgotten about this. And this is a shawl. And it was made in collaboration, I think, with, it might tell me on here. It was the Winterberry Shaw. And it's because it's a bit dark, you can't quite see the pattern. The Winterberry Shawl, and this was made in collaboration with Alex Collins, and Alex designed the bag, and she had two colourways to go with the pattern. This burgundy, and the one I chose, which was this one, and it is in. Oh dear, let's see. See, I've stopped in the middle of a row here. That's not good, is it? There we are. That's the. I think it's a crescent. It's a crescent shawl, and this yarn is from the Fibre Company, and it is. You've got two skeins, I'm trying to find a ball band. Here we go. It was the, or I think maybe you say Fibre Co rather than Fibre Company. And it is the Fingering Cumbria Into the Hills, and it is the Blencathra colourway. I don't know what, there were the two colourways to get. I don't know what I can't remember what the burgundy or deep red colour was. But I chose this one. Got 2 skeins. Now I don't know. I've gone off shawls a bit. I don't wear them very often. I'm thinking I like a bit of a wrap rather than a shawl, but I don't know. I think I've gone too far with this. Oops. I think I've gone too far with this. I don't dislike it. But I think I've gone too far with it to sort of undo it really. And I think it might look quite, because it's not itchy yarn, but it looks, I don't know, it just looks lovely. And as I'm showing it to you on the camera, I'm thinking, oh, do you know, I really like this. And why did I not carry on with it? I don't know. I think I probably got distracted with other projects, other patterns coming up on. I need to stop scrolling through Instagram, and I need to stop going on Ravelry. So I think that's, again, I think this might be on the to-do pile. And it wouldn't take me that long. I mean, it's not a big shawl, which is nice. I don't like them too big. And the pattern, it's called the Winterberry, and the pattern is by Sister Mountain in collaboration with Alex from Alex Collins Designs. Yeah, it's the schematic is that it's that shape. So it's not a crescent shawl. I've no idea what that shape is, but that's what it will be like. And I thought, oh, do you know, I might keep that. You know, I'll probably be keeping all of them. Right, so that's another one too. I've got a lot of knitting this winter. This one in this lovely Sherry Iris bag. Again, forgot what was in here. And I can't remember what this is. Oh, I know what this is. This is a baby cardigan. And I've been asked by a friend, colleague, to knit a baby cardigan for her grandchild who is due in January. So I've got plenty of time. And I said, you know, yes, okay. I said, it won't be instant. I said, because I've got plenty of things on the needles already I want to get on with, but I said, I've got some time. So I found this pattern, and I did it in black and white, and I'm knitting that little cardigan there. Or am I knitting the one? No, I'm knitting the one without the hood. The other one, the bottom is so that I'm knitting that one, and it's very pretty. And I've got this far. And there's a little bit of a pattern there going on. And I'm knitting this in, now I've got 2 patterns here, so maybe I've changed my mind. I'm knitting something else, because that doesn't look the same as that pattern, does it? So, no, I take it back. I'm knitting this one, because you've got the plain bit going up there, and then you've got like a little kind of a crisscross pattern there, and that would make sense then, wouldn't it, when you see that. So I'm knitting this not in Snuggly but in Bo Peep, which is a West Yorkshire Spinners yarn, and it is 52% Falkland and 48% nylon. So it's lovely and soft, but it can go in the washing machine. So might have a go at that one. That's a snuggly, but I don't think. Oh, it is a double knitting. I don't know why I abandoned that idea of that one. I can't remember now. So, so that's a little. Oh, and it's white. It's like an off-white, and the colourway is Tooth Fairy by West Yorkshire Spinners, Bo Peep. It's beautiful. I think it's the same tension. I still say tension gauge as Snuggly DK, but there's too much. I'm not a fan of acrylic. I just don't like the feel of it. So, and this is nice and soft, but and again, look, I've stopped in the middle of a row. That's not good. So, I'm obviously not going to be doing that, but it's been a work in progress for about a month. Anyway, that's the trouble. I've got till January, so I'll keep thinking, oh, I've got plenty of time. On January the 1st, I'll be knitting away like something not right. Anyway, that's another one. Now this one, again, I forgot about this one. And let's see. It's in another Sherry Iris project bag, beautiful bag. Little signature tabs there, gorgeous, pretty lining. Now this is yarn by Along of Ekana, and I've got all of the yarn to knit another Tresca. And this is an updated pattern because I think originally the one I knitted originally was in Eldenwood Crafts, Eden Cottage Yarns, and I knit it far too small, and I knitted it in the call for yarn and even in the same colour, which I think was hyssop, a sort of a sagey green. It was gorgeous, but I did it far too small. See, I mean, you can see that there's, I mean, she's very slim, but there's positive ease there, whereas there was absolutely none in mine. I took it all up. So I thought, actually, when I got this out, I thought I'd started it, but I haven't. I've got all the needles in there. That's probably why I can't find any needles, because they're all in here, languishing. What else have I got in here? I've just got more yarn. So I've got all the yarn to knit the Tresca in this gorgeous Along of Ekana yarn. You see, it's been in that bag so long, everything's all starting to fall apart. And that's the merino, and this is the mohair, and it is silk mohair, and this is 100% superwash mohair, merino, 100% superwash merino in the colourway Louvre. And it's an absolutely gorgeous grey, beautiful, like a dove grey, beautiful. And to be honest, that's why I got it out. Oh, I've got a needle there. Was because I thought I'd started it. So well, there's nothing to pull out there, but I think I will still make Tresca, but one that's, you know, with a bit of positive ease in it. I'm just going to have to stop thinking about me being a 6 foot willowy blonde and just look at myself in the mirror realistically. It's going to be hard, but that's what I'll have to do, because otherwise, I mean, I don't wear that jumper, which is a shame. But it's not so ridiculously tight, but it's meant to be looser than it actually is. So there's a Tresca in the making. Now, I did think I'd actually started that, but I'm quite pleased that there's no pulling out to do or unpicking. So again, I'm not sure. Oh, now this one. This is a bit of a story about this. I want to knit, and I have literally just cast on and then put it to one side. Literally just cast on. And this is in the Kim Hargreaves winter book. And it is this cardigan. This one. And it's called Dippy. Now I knitted this one. I knitted this cardigan. Gosh, it must be beginning of last year. May even been, you know, longer than that ago. It's almost English. And I had a couple of false starts with it. I showed it on a podcast, and once I was showing it, I could see a mistake. So I ripped it back. And then there was another mistake, and I can't remember what it was, but there were a couple of mistakes that kind of made me think, oh. But I persevered, and I righted the wrongs, and I was then doing the, you've got to pick up the stitches to do the band, and the band, I don't know if you can see, you pick up the stitches and knit out that way. So you've got an awful lot of stitches on the needle. You're not going that far, and they're 5mm needles, I believe. I shall find out. And I just couldn't get the right amount of stitches on the needle. I had so many goes. No, 6mm needles, and 7mm needles. So you do the ribbing bits in the 6, and then the main part of the cardigan in 7. So they're chunky needles, and I'm knitting it in the call for wool, which is Alpaca Classic, in a colourway. It is shade 116, which I think is soft shell, and it's gorgeous. And you knit holding 2 balls together. There's only 25 grams in each ball, so you knit 2 together. So it's quite chunky, and it's not something I'm used to knitting. But however, I got a bit fed up with this because I couldn't get the right amount of stitches on the needle when I was doing the band. So I put it away in the cupboard. We've got a cupboard over it's like over the stairwell. It's in our small little bedroom, and it is a cupboard of, I don't know what you'd call it, but I always put things in there thinking I'll deal with that later. And that's where this went, along with, I think I might have even showed at the same time, a quilt I was putting together. I'd made the blocks, and then I was putting the sashing on, and I didn't like my choice of sashing. So again, I thought, well, I'll unpick this and I will choose some other sashing. And I can't find it. And I have a horrible feeling that we used to have a tip. It closed recently, but up at the tip, there was a textile bin. You could put fabrics and clothes and things like that, and it all went to a paper mill. And I used to put fabric in bags. You know, the bits of fabric when I've cut out this dress, there's always, this is a Merchant and Mills. It's either a Hattie or an Ellis. I think it's an Ellis. And when you cut the same for both designs. You cut out the skirt, and it doesn't quite go to the end of the fabric. So you've got this strip down the side, and I'm not that creative that I can look at that and think, oh, I know what I'll do with that. So I tend to put them all in a bag and think, oh, I'll just take them up to the tip and they'll go to the paper mill. And I think that's where this cardigan and that quilt ended up. And I was so cross with myself. So after a while I thought, well, I'll just knit another one because I want it. I love that design. It's one of those, you pull on and yeah. So I haven't bought all of this. We've got a John Lewis about 10 minutes up the road from us in Cheadle, and I went there and bought some, but they didn't have all of the balls. I think I need 20 of these, so it's not a cheap project. So I thought, well, I'll just buy them as and when. And of course I go back and there's no more. So, but I know Wool Warehouse has these, and I'm not that bothered if I can't get the correct dye lot. I'm not bothered. I think there's enough of a pattern with the cables that you may not see that line. I don't know, but it's my own stupid fault. And so again, I cast it on, and I think I did it just before the weather got warm, and I thought, oh, I can't have all this on my knee. So I think this is a winter project, and one I will carry on with, just to redeem myself, really, because I mean, I think I'm working on the principle that sometimes when you go and buy it again, it'll appear, but I doubt very much so. But I was thinking, well, I could do something else with this if that happens. But I really don't think so. I think it's gone into the textile bit. Why? I must have just put a load of other fabric in there without looking into the bag properly. It was a black bin liner. Anyway, so, and I love Kim Hargreaves' designs. I love her style. I love everything. There's so many projects in this book that I would like to knit, and other ones as well, other books. I mean, I love that, but I just could not do those bobbles. I couldn't, but I love it. Anyway, so that's, and to be honest, I'd forgotten about this too when I was pulling everything out the cupboard. A more recent whips are, because I just fancied seeing what the now this doesn't need any introduction. This, I've got a few projects in here, is my Ronculus, and I think I might have talked about this on a previous podcast. So I have started it, and I think I'm onto the short row shapings. That sort of, and I'm using this yarn by Telling Yarns, and it's the Resolute. It's coming up quite bright there, but it's a very it's all smoky colours, and it is the colourway Sea Smoke. But I haven't got a ball. Have I? Yes, I have. Yeah, it is Sea Smoke, and it is Resolute fingering 4-ply, and it is made up of Blueface Leicester, Romney, Masham and Warbles, and it's gorgeous, and it looks as if it might be toothy, but it's not. It's very soft, and I just love those colours. But there's not much to show, and I haven't done much on it at all, really. It's one of those where I have to concentrate, so it's no good me watching a podcast and you're knitting it top down. So, but that does not look very big. Yeah, I'm knitting a bigger size, so we'll see. It's very stretchy though, very stretchy. I didn't do the call for cast on because I don't know how to do it, so I just did my normal cast on. I think it was I can't remember what the cast on was now, but I mean, I don't think this pattern needs any introduction from me at all. But it's that, and I'm doing the long sleeved. I'm not really sure I want it that baggy and drapey, but we'll see. I just like the pattern at the top. I just think it's really nice, and I like the crop as well, so I could wear it over dresses. So that's one in hand, not really rushing to finish it. The other thing I cast on, because, well, why not, was the, no, that's a sock pattern. Oh, I've not got the pattern. Oh no, maybe it's, there's too many pockets in this bag. Here we go. Again, one that does not need any introduction from me is the Love Note. Again, it's a crop jumper, and I think it would look lovely over dresses. So I have literally only just started this, and I started it at my knitting group last week. My Tuesday night knitting group used to be in the wool shop in a town near me, and the chap that owned it wanted to retire, so and it was his shop. He owned the shop, so he's sold it. So the knitting group moved to the local pub. Unfortunately, it's a lovely pub, but where we can sit, and we sort of sit in window seats in a sort of a semicircle, and we've got tables in front of us, it's very dark. So I took this to knit, but I'm at the bit where you're just increasing the stitches. So this was all just, this is all, the bit I'm showing here, which is all curled up and like that, is this bit here, there. So we sit in the pub because it's dark. It's you know, subdued lighting in that corner, and apparently the ceiling lights are not working and they're waiting for an electrician. So I bought, we all bought them. So we sit there, I won't show it because it's bright, but we sit there with these on. We all look like we've joined a cult, but we sit and, can you see? It sort of lights up. You can have your work here and it lights up. Yeah, so we do that. That's it. So and it's brilliant. It's brilliant. But I still won't take anything too tricky there, because apart from anything else, we're all chatting, and I have to drive to the pub, so I'm not having a drink. I'm there with a lime and soda, so it's fine. But I've not told you what I'm knitting it in, have I? I am knitting this, and it's a lovely colour, and I'm not sure. Oh, maybe it's a sort of a lovely sagey grey green. It's lovely, and it is West Yorkshire Spinners Bow Pick Pure, which I think is a baby yarn, but it's the tension. The tension is just right for the pattern. So yeah, so I've started that. Again, it's not one I'm going to rip back. I think I will. I'm liking it so far. I'm liking it. It's on fairly chunky needles. I think these are 5s. Let me see. Suggested a 6mm. I mean, it's a very much, you know, well, whatever suits you kind of a pattern. I'm using 6mm, and I think I'm getting the gauge I want, but they're saying, well, use the needles to get the gauge. Oh, I don't bother with that. I'll just carry on and see. It might be, well, if it's oversized or it's a bit big, well, that's to my advantage, because I tend to knit things, as I've just said, too small. So, well, there's another ball of yarn in here. What else is in here? Ah, right. So the other thing that's in here is a pair of socks, and I've fallen out with sock knitting, and I don't know why. I don't know why. I'm not. Oh, there we go. These are the sea salt socks, which are absolutely gorgeous, and they are from the Wool Barn, and I'm knitting them in the call for yarn from Wool Barn in sea salt, which is a sort of a creamy, how would you, like a creamy, it's not grey, but it's, you know, it's not a sandy colour. It's sea salt, but it's not white either. Gorgeous. And this is what I'm up to so far. And I don't know, I think I just got a bit, I made a couple of mistakes in it, so maybe that's why. So you knit it cuff down, and I've done the shaping, the heel. I do the standard slip stitch heel and gusset. I just find that works for me. I've tried, what was the other one I tried? Eye of Partridge. And I don't know, I like the fabric of this. Well, to be honest, it's not that different, but I like the fabric of this one. That one. And I've got my little fun stitch stoppers on, needle stoppers on. These are from Beautiful Knitters, little sheep's heads. And yeah, so what I do now is carry on with the pattern down the front and just plain, obviously you don't have a pattern underneath because it would be a bit uncomfortable. But I have made a couple of mistakes. I'm looking at it thinking, I'm not sure if I have made mistakes or if I have, but I think I've made a mistake there because the pattern, I think I've forgotten to do the pattern there. These are for me. But even if I was to give them to someone, they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know. And I think that's meant to be like that. But I think in the middle somewhere there, I've forgotten to do the pattern or something's gone wrong. But and I've only got one of those, so I'll have to crack on with that. I mean, there's not that much once you're down past all that heel malarkey there. I mean, it's just straight down, isn't it? So I don't know why I'm procrastinating. Am I procrastinating or just I don't know, being awkward? I don't know. So I've got these to finish. Actually, for having said that, I don't think there was an awful lot of width really. So I shall put all this back in there and put the Ronculus in there as well. It's a very roomy. This is a bag from Redesigned. It's one of their project bags, Project 13 I think it is, and it's quite. I've got sort of starts of projects in there, so I've got 3 in there, so it's quite roomy at the moment. But I think once you start, you know, it's a sweater quantity size, I think. Yeah. So that's that. And then this one, another sock. These keep sticking out of my eye. I've got my little grandson and granddaughter coming to stay. We're looking after them on Friday night while their parents go to a wedding. And I've got all these things sticking out of knitting. Oh, I'm going to have to be careful. So, I think I'm at a point where I showed you last time. These, again, it's a pattern by the Wool Barn. And I'm using I didn't tell you what the yarn was. For the sea salt socks, it is. I'm using the Call for Wool. The sea socks, I think, is their cashmere sock. Extra fine superwash merino, nylon and cashmere. Yeah, Wool Barn cashmere sock. But for this one, which is the Port Sea socks, this was a sock set, and I bought the Port Sea yarn. I don't know if this is this is twist sock, the Wool Barn twist sock, and it is. This is the colourway Midnight, so it's a bluey black, and this is the colourway Sand. Again, it's a sandy colour. And I've done the first one, which I think I was able to show last time. Yes, because I still haven't kitchened the toe, but there's the sock. Again, it's the standard heel and gusset. And this isn't colour work. This is slipped. It's slipped. It's not. You're not carrying the colours across. Like that. So, but I lost this. I can't. I found it in my. I've got a bag of ball ends that, you know, of what I've finished, and this somehow ended up in there. And I was looking for this for ages, and I'm at a point. I'd cast on the cuff. Got a little bit more of the cuff to do, and then I was going to have to start using this with the other yarn. So that's my reason for this being a languishing whip. Probably languished a little bit too longer than that to be for that excuse, but anyway, there we go. And so that's another sock set, or another sock that needs finishing. I knit these with just me in mind, really, but every now and again I say to my daughters, would you like these? We'll see. And I have this in my little Bobbles and Berries, my cute little embroidered bag. Very, very nice. See, there's the Bobbles and Berries. Is it Bobbles and Berries? Yes, Bobbles and Berries. She has a lovely podcast. She's very, very talented knitter. She's French. Ode. She's called Ode. Very, very talented. And she embroiders, that's her embroidery. And then she embroiders little stitch markers and progress keepers. Absolutely gorgeous, beautiful work. And that's that. Right, the other thing, I'll do the socks. I've got another pair of socks, which, well, actually, I was knitting on these last night, but they are a pair of perfectly plain vanilla socks, and I've got that far. And this is a vanilla sock, just, again, heel flap and normal heel flap and gusset. And this colourway is a Sherry Iris yarn, her little bookshelf collection, and this is Wuthering Heights. And you can see, can't you? I suppose you've got the heather and the gorse, and it's a while since I've been up to Haworth, but it's a very, very atmospheric place. Beautiful. And well, that's the cuff. I don't know if I might do the toes in them. I don't know. I'm not going. Oh, obviously I've not done the heel in that, but I might do the toes in that. I don't know, or just have a cuff. So, and that's the yarn all balled up. So that's, again, that's in another read. This one's quite a small one actually, and it just fits a sock set. I don't zip them up because I think it just might catch the yarn, but it's a handy one. I was watching a podcast a while ago, and me being the kitchen knitter, I used to, I still do sit and knit in the kitchen, but when the Argo was on all the time, this was a very warm room, very cosy. It's now an electric Argo, which we switch on when we want to use it. So it's not quite the same. And I used to sit and knit in here, and that's where the kitchen knitter came from. So I used to sit at the kitchen table and knit. I have a sewing room now too, where I sometimes sit in there. Oh, now this is an old whip, and this is, did I not bring the book down? Yes, I did. This is out of this book, another Kim Hargreaves book called Grey, and it is I'll show you the bigger picture, actually, it's better. I thought I had a marker in here, but obviously not. Oh, there we are. I did have a marker in it. It's that one. And it's very fitted. And when I started knitting it originally, I thought this is too small. Same old problem. And it's all garter stitch, and you knit it in, I'm knitting it in the call for yarn, which is Rowan Kid Silk Haze. I'll look at the book for the colours, which is this one, gorgeous grey, which I think is steel. I'll have a look. Kid Silk Haze and Fine Lace, which I think is Pigeon. It's a sort of a greeny grey, gorgeous. So you knit them together, and it looks. And it's just garter stitch. Now this is all a bit rumpled because it's been pushed into a bag, and it's been there for months. And that's it. That's it. Sort of the fabric of it. There. The fabric of it there. Gorgeous colour. I'm still looking at that thinking, I don't think that's... Well, it's meant to be fitted. It's not meant to have any positive ease. So, I mean, I hadn't heard of positive ease until I started knitting, the independent patterns and this positive ease business. So, and you knit it on quite fine needles. I think they are a 4. I will find out. So it's got the pattern. I've got lots of scribbles and things on there. It's called Cobweb, and yes, it's Kid Silk Haze is steel, and the Fine Lace is Pigeon, and you knit it on 3 1/4 and 3 3/4 needles. So those are the 3 3/4 needles. So I'm not sure I'm going to put the pockets on. I'm not sure. We'll see. That is the back I'm knitting. And of course you're knitting it in pieces and then seaming it up. And I don't mind that. I must admit, when I'm doing this, I'm thinking, oh, I wish I was knitting it in the round because I won't have to sew it up. But then when I'm knitting in the round, I'm thinking, gosh, all these stitches, I wish I was knitting it in pieces. So I'm never satisfied. But I've got a couple of needles in there that I didn't realise I had. So I've got all the yarn. I think I've got all the yarn. I might have to get some more. And it's housed in my Caroline Loves to Sew bag. Very pretty bag. I think it's Tilda fabric with a gorgeous green on the inside. So I'm sort of revisiting all these lovely project bags I've had as well. So push that in there. So that's another one which I don't think I think I'll carry on. There's some lovely designs in this, and grey. Well, it was made for me. Oh gosh, 48 minutes. Right, the last couple. I remember. Have I not brought it? Oh. Oh, that's ridiculous. Surely not. Well, I'll fall off the... I mustn't have brought it down. I don't want to stop the tape and disappear because I tried that when I was doing another podcast, and I ended up with the beginning starting at the end of the I get myself into a bit of a pickle with editing, and I don't want to do it. So there's somewhere is a bag with the makings of this lovely top in it. Again, it's Kim Hargreaves from this book, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I started knitting it. I'm knitting it in the yarn called for yarn in that colour, which is called linen, and it is hand knit cotton. Now I used to use hand knit cotton a lot for my younger daughter, particularly. She was quite knit worthy, and I used to use because Debbie Bliss used hand knit cotton, and I used to use a lot of Debbie Bliss's patterns in the beginning. Rowan and Debbie Bliss, they were all I ever used, until I discovered podcasts and independent dyers, and I went, yeah. So I was knitting this bit here, and it's a pearl yarn over, and I wasn't doing it right. It looked nothing like that. Mine was far too loopy. So let me see. But I love the colour, and you know, in my head I'm going to look like that when I wear it, in my head. And so it's on the needles, having its second. I bought the yarn, I bought the hand knit cotton in the linen, I bought everything that it's meant to be, but mine just did not look like that. So I think there's bound to be a YouTube video on how to do a pearl yarn over, because you've got to bring it round, haven't you? And then you've got to bring it round again. And I think I was winding it round too many times, because this bit of the pattern here was too big. It just didn't look right at all. And I do like it. So it's somewhere upstairs in a gorgeous French General fabric bag made by Sherry Iris. So so nothing's being frogged yet, is it? Nothing's been ripped back. So my two current whips are, and I've nearly finished this, and you've seen this loads of times. This is, and I've not brought the pattern down. Have I got a, no. Because I'm sewing it up, I'm nearly finished now. This is a pattern by Kim Hargreaves from a very old Rowan magazine. And I think the cardigan is called Fennel. So I'm in the process of sewing it up. And I've put the I've put the button band on. So I need to sew up the sides. See, that's the thing, when you're showing a top-down garment, it's so much easier to show, isn't it, than this. It's very drapey. I was knitting it in a yarn from Hedgerow Yarns, which was alpaca, silk and linen. It's absolutely beautiful, and the colourway was graphite. In the Rowan book, it was it True Botany 4-ply? It's a very old yarn. It's been discontinued for years, but I wanted to knit it in this. I'd started knitting, and I can't remember the name of it, but it was a very simple cardigan, but it had a lot of shaping here. Contiguous, can't remember now. And I just felt it was all a little bit above me, so I changed to this, and I'm not sure I've chosen the right fabric. I think this is too drapey, but at the same time I love it. So I'm going to, it's just plain simple. I've got two sleeves here if proof were needed, and they need to be sewn in, and then it's done. The only boob I made, well, I made a few boobs with this, but the only boob I made was I've knit the button band, and not put the buttonholes in. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I think I bought some lovely buttons from Tangled Yarn, and that's what I was going to put on the thing. So I don't know. I might still put the buttons on, but just obviously not able to fasten it. But it would be a little bit of a feature. I don't know. I went to their Tangled Yarn Knit Night. It's only once a month, and you've got to book. And I got the last place, and I went, and it was wonderful. And I love my knit night on Tuesday as well. But this is just once a month, and it was lovely. And I did make a couple of purchases while I was there, not just buttons. But that's for another day, because I do know what I want to knit with it, but I've got there's enough here to get on with. But it, you know, I could crack on with these and by Easter. Easter's late this year. I might be able to. I'm reluctant to start anything new because I want to finish these things. So the last thing, and again I had a few false starts with this, is the Tresy Jumper. And I've shown this a few times on my other podcasts, because I think I started knitting it last spring, and then it became the summer, and then it was warm, and I stopped knitting on it. I found this summer I didn't do much knitting through the summer. I did a bit more sewing. I don't know why. And that's the jumper. It's lovely, and I'm knitting it in the Call For yarn, Biche et Bouche, which I bought from Tangled Yarn, in the soft green. Yeah, soft green. They're both soft green. This is mulberry silk and super kid mohair, and this is lambswool, Le Petit lambswool, 100% lambswool, in soft green. So you knit those together, and I had a few false starts with this. I have ripped it back 4 times, and I think I'm okay now. I'm on the, so you're knitting it top down, and you're doing the raglan shaping. There's no German short rows. It's just raglan shaping, and that's the front. But my pattern went a little awry. I found that I'd only got, there's so many stitches for this pattern, not many stitches, but so many stitches, and I didn't have the correct amount. So my pattern, you have a pearl stitch that goes up the middle. Well, my pearl stitch seemed to go off to one side. So I started again. I think I ripped it back because I dropped a stitch on the raglan shaping and tried to put it right. So there's the, I don't think you see the raglan shaping. And I tried to put it right and made an even more mess of it. So I put it to one side and then got it out again a couple of weeks later and thought, right, do you want this jumper or not? So, and that's the bit that goes down the, yeah, showing it to you, yeah, that's the bit that goes down the front. I think you've got to come back and do a bit of something on the neckline there, but that's the shaping so far. But I write it all down. I've got so many instructions on this pattern and bits of post-it notes and things, but it's now, I'm looking at it and thinking, yes, that looks like that. So I think I'm on the right track. And I do like this job. I'm going to knit it as long as that one. I'm not going to do any cropping or anything, because I cropped the last one, the Jakers, and I don't think you can just stop knitting. Mine, it just seems to hang. So I don't know. I mean, I wear it and I love it. It's the Jakers, and I knitted it in this beautiful yarn from Wool and Twine. But I wanted it to sit around about sort of here. You can't see, can you? Just where the gathering of my dress is, and I've got it to there. But I think I should have done I don't know, do you do a bit of shaping? I don't know. I'm not very good at hacks. Like I say, I live my life on tram lines. So when I come off those tram lines, it all goes a little pear-shaped. So, but it's fine. It's probably my being overly critical, which I am, and of myself. And but I do wear it. I wore it the other day. And somebody said, "Where did you buy that jumper?" And I wasn't sure if she was, well, I'd take it back. But I said, well, actually, it's a hand knit. No. Oh, it's lovely. So, yeah, it couldn't have looked that bad, could it? But anyway, that's, and it's in my redesigned bag. I have to say I got my bags before all the hoo-ha, because apparently it's a bit of a thing now, but I just love the idea of being able to open it up and have it like that. And sometimes I've had 2 projects in there, but that is all, it's a bit of a mess, but it all comfortably sits in there. So that's my whip parade. And I hope to come back to you very soon with some of these things finished and some new starts, because Tangled Yarn is my local wool shop. It's beautiful and it's in the town where I live and it's gorgeous, and I have made some purchases from there. I have bought some Comoros and some Tucker wool. I've got a couple of Sari Nordland's sock patterns, and she uses Tucker wool, and so I've got a couple of skeins of Tucker wool. And what else have I got? Two colourways in the Comoros, the Limode, I think that's how you pronounce it, Limode. And I've also bought some, it's a Turkish yarn, Hey Mama Wolf, beautiful, it's a gorgeous autumn colour, like a gold. It's beautiful. Again, I would like to make a crop jumper. So I've got some projects in mind. But with that, I shall bid you good night, and thank you so much for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I have some new subscribers, and that is lovely. Thank you so much, and thank you for all your lovely comments. I think I'm up to date with comments. I need to go back, but thank you so much. Thank you. Good night.